When I was first learning tarot, I was really intimidated by the Celtic Cross Spread. Even though it was a popular spread, it seemed kind of difficult to use. And years later, when I felt more confident in my tarot practice, I decided to look into it again. It was high time to learn this mysterious spread. So in this video, I'm going to break down the Celtic Cross layout in the simplest way possible. It's really one of the best spreads to use when you don't have a perfectly crafted question or you want the cards to give you a bigger picture over something more general. But here's where I got confused though. I noticed there was conflicting information about the numbered cards. The numbers were so varied depending on the source I was looking at or the book I was looking at that I really didn't understand which was the right one. The layout is the same, but the numbering is where things get a little different depending on the source. So it's better to focus on where the card sits, not what number is assigned to it. Because it turns out it's less about what the number of the card is, and it's more about what the position it's in represents for the message overall. So if you've seen variations and you wonder, why is card 3 in the upper position instead of where I normally see it? Which one's right? Well, here's a simple fix. Pay attention to the position, where it sits in relationship of the spread. The main thing to really consider is that card 1 and 2 are always the same, as well as the 4 final cards that are in what's considered the staff. But anyways, let me show my layout here and I'll explain a little bit further. So this is a basic Celtic Cross spread and it comes in 2 parts. This first part is the Celtic Cross portion of it, and the second part is the staff, which has the final 4 cards. So we always start with the cross because it's the main story. So right in the middle here, the very first card underneath, that's card number 1. This represents the person or the situation, especially if you're asking a specific question. This will often show you that, yes, this reading is about that. If it's a more general question, then this will just show you what the overall message is about. The second card is often said the card that crosses it. A lot of people call this the challenge, but I don't always see it as negative. I think of it as what's in the way or what's pressing on the situation, what might be complicating it, or just something somebody needs to be aware of. Now, when you look above this top card up here is all about what's in your head. What are you thinking about? What are you focused on? What do you want or what are you reaching for? And sometimes it depends on the card. It can also show something you're not fully committing to yet, but it's steering you in that direction because that's what's on your mind. And then looking below that center card, we have what's happening underneath. The subconscious, the things you might not be aware of, the root of things, the real reason this thing is even a thing right now. So again, it depends on what kind of question you have. And then we go to the side of that main situation. And when we go to the card behind the center, this is representing the recent past. This is what brought you here or what might still be lingering, that might still be influencing the situation. And then the card to the front of that center card is the near future. This is what's coming up next. This is the situation that is moving in that direction. And here's the powerful part is that these cards may be read individually, but they're not on their own. They are all part of the main topic, the middle card representing that. But the past card can show where this came from, and the card below it can show what's going on underneath, and above is what your mind might be doing with it. And then, of course, this future card, it's not about being random. It's basically showing you what the next scene is based what we're already seeing here. So when you're reading, you're always asking, how do the cards relate together? And now we move on to the staff. So this would be position 7, 8, 9, and 10. Those are always those numbers. And card 7 down here is about how the person is showing up, who they identify as, what's their role, what's their energy that is influencing this situation. And card number 8, these are the external influences that are happening above that person, happening outside of that person. It could be other people, circumstances, the environment, anything that's outside of yourself or whoever the spread's being read for. And then we move up to card number 9. This is hopes and fears. Yes, it can be either or both. Sometimes the card clearly shows what you're hoping for. Sometimes it shows what you're afraid of, but sometimes it can show you both. So again, depends on the card itself. And then 10 is the outcome. This is where things are headed if nothing changes. And this staff helps you understand the human side of the story. So if you think of the Celtic Cross portion is just kind of unfolding things that might need to be revealed. And then the staff is showing you what your human experience is influencing and how they might be emotionally holding on to what's playing out. So if you want to see this Celtic Cross Spread in action, watch the next video that I have suggested popped up on the screen, because that's going to show you how the spread actually works. Thanks for watching. Make sure you like and ask questions in the comments, and please subscribe because we're going to see you in another video. Peace.